You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. Streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
What's this? What's going on?
We're not nearly as handsome as the guys who host Geek Chat.
I don't think we're beardy enough. Like between Rich and Des, they have, you know, the magnificence of beards, and ours are just, you know, I got way too much gray.
I'm starting to get gray.
Starting to get, yeah, it's not fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, if there's anybody out there watching, please say hi in the chat to us. We are just kind of filling in for. We are geeks, and we're going to be chatting, but we're not the Geek Chat. They had to take the day off, and we're just trying to, you know, set a schedule with you guys. You know, we don't. It's like we imagine ourselves an actual TV network. And so TV networks just can't go dark anytime they want. So we're trying to make sure that when you tune in, there's content here for you.
Can I kind of be like the Kobe Bryant of the XP?
I don't know what that means. So
I just
go
want to
ahead.
No, not the Kobe Bryant. Sorry, the Brian Gumble.
Brian Gumble, yes, absolutely.
Brian Gumble. I'm Brian Gumble of the. Sorry, my sports thing was
And guess who decides who to come and check out our non-show?
Oh, David Moore. We got David Moore in the house.
The Centaur himself.
And the Centaur himself, and we got Kenneth Bird in the house.
Oh, okay, Kenneth. Good to see you. Welcome from Virginia. I didn't know you were in Virginia. That's nice. Has the heat broken over there in Virginia? Because it's gotten back down to like 75 here, and that's nice. But we still got those California wildfires to deal with, creeping around. What are you guys? Is the temperature back to normal? You guys still got heat waves out there?
Actually, it's been really nice today. I just got back from the city, and it was like 80, dropped down to 76 just now.
Nice.
It was really nice.
Back to like.
Oh, David Moore wants to hear my review of the debate. I'll give you my review of the debate. I'm gonna sum it up for everybody right now.
Yeah.
The debate was awful because it cut into the first hour of my show on The Experience, and Jay was there for that. There's my review.
It cost him money.
It's
just wrong. Get in the way of commerce.
Yes.
So yeah, but basically we're going to review some of the books that came out this week, as the Geek Chat normally does. So Onrie, you went all like big two. You were like all Marvel over there. So
yeah, I did get. I don't think I get. Well, the one thing that came out from DC this week, I'm not caught up on yet. So
okay.
It's Batman and Robin. So I've been reading that because I really like the artwork. I really like Simone DeMio's artwork a lot.
Nice.
I'm just not caught up on it yet. So that isn't saying that I'm not reading DC books this week. But yeah, I spent all night yesterday reading like 12 issues of Amazing Spider-Man just so I could review the
Nice.
It's like you got to have the background, right? I didn't do that.
If this doesn't make me the Brian Gumble of The Experience, nothing does.
It's like I really wish I understood more of what that reference is, but I haven't watched network television for like 20 years.
Neither have I. I'm just like, you know. Can I be the Jim Kramer of The Experience?
Yes, absolutely.
Jim Kramer of The Experience. There we go.
I want you to smash some coffee mugs for us.
Do some rage reviewing here. All right, so you want
exactly.
me to
why don't you kick it off with your Spider-Man, since you did so much work?
Yeah, I did do so much work on it. Okay, so where did I leave off with Amazing Spider-Man? I stopped around the gang war stuff, but I kept all the issues because my LCS just keeps pulling them for me. So I had this big stack of Amazing Spider-Man books I had to read through, and I was reading through all these other books. So finally, I just was like, all right, I'm going to pummel through this. I'm going to get through it, because I wanted to catch up on Amazing Spider-Man. And a lot's happened in the series post-Gang War. There was also a Blood Hunt tie-in. Mm-hmm. And all of it was done by John Romita Jr. And his artwork is just, that's what has carried me through. Like, if I always want to say something positive about every comic I'm reading. I'm not a big fan of crossovers and crossovers tying into main titles on books. But John Romita Jr.'s artwork is always like delivering. So that, I'm going to say, is what carried me through this entire run the most. And I know Zeb Wells, the writer of Spider-Man, and he's a great guy. Yeah. And I think that, you know, he's weaving in a lot of cool stuff here. Now, this issue in particular is probably the first moment that I'm like, whoa, this ends on a cliffhanger. And since you said we could be spoilery, I'm going to spoil this for everybody. So Gangland ends with Tombstone basically like not turning against, but like, I wouldn't even say he double crosses his daughter, but he cuts her out. He's like, you can't be like me. You can't be the Kingpin. Mm. So he basically takes on Kingpin in New York. And because he worked with Spider-Man during the events of Gangland, or Gang War, basically he now has to prove himself by killing Spider-Man.
Well, that makes perfect sense.
And it makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But in order to lure out Spider-Man, he calls for Peter Parker. And he doesn't just call for Peter Parker, he attempts to kill Peter Parker. Right away. Like it's like totally
does everyone know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, or is like this just because everyone knows that
he's tied to Spider-Man? It's a good setup. It's actually it happens all in the issue before this. So Tombstone calls Spider-Man he calls Peter Parker over, and he wants him to deliver a message to Spider-Man. They're taking a drive in Tombstone's car. He's like, get in the car, and while they're in the car, Tombstone's like, I gotta kill you to get the message over to Spider-Man. He just starts trying to kill Peter Parker right there. And Peter Parker can't reveal that he's Spider-Man. And there's like this big fight that's taking place inside Tombstone's limo. And then all of a sudden, She-Hulk and Luke Cage show up and they arrest Tombstone. So this issue starts off right after that. So Tombstone's now in jail. And Spider-Man's like coming in.
So that was kind of like an action reboot of Mrs. Doubtfire then, because he had.
Well, kind of. I mean, what I likened it to was like The Godfather. You know, it's like, it's totally something that you would have seen out of The Godfather. Like, oh, I got to kill you to make an example or to lure this person out. You know, like it's a good setup. And then basically, Tombstone goes to jail because his daughter ends up turning against him. So she's the key witness to send him to jail. Well, this issue opens up now and he's behind bars and Spider-Man's like, you're going to be here for a long time. Well, it turns out he gets let out right away.
Oh, of course.
Now Tombstone's out and we're going to find out if he's going to actually end up killing his own daughter, which is where it ends. And I think that is a really cool way to end this issue because it's a cliffhanger. It's a cliffhanger that kind of is like, all right, well, does he have what it takes to off his own daughter? Because that's something that him and the Kingpin have been talking about, like throughout Gang War. Kingpin waged war with his son, the Rose. And, does Tombstone have the cojones to kill his own daughter, who's the Beetle, by the way? So it's not the best Spider-Man I've ever read in my life, but John Romita Jr.'s artwork has been stellar. Zeb has been. I'm not sitting through this book and
Yeah, a lot of people have been getting real down on Zeb Wells.
He's doing his job. I mean, I'm not reading these books and can't wait to put this down. It's so bogged down with exposition. He keeps things moving, and it does feel like you're reading a high intensity comic, but I would really like to see a Spider-Man that's more bogged down in reality. Let's get back to those days where the stakes are higher. But this definitely ends on a cliffhanger, and this gets 3 out of 5 Onries for sure.
So would you 3 out of 5 on?
No, I can't review it like that. But
so would you say that's a good if you just wanted to jump into the current ASM, would that be a good place to start, or would you start a couple issues earlier?
I would start, honestly, the issue before that, because you get a summary of everything and at least you see how Tombstone ends up in jail. But if you're going to jump in and this is the first Spider-Man issue you ever read or whatever, you just want to jump in, just look at the art. John Romita Jr. really knocks it out of the park. The guy was, he's been drawing Spider-Man for a long time. Some really strong sequentials here. And, again, a lot of what Zeb is doing here is building up.
Hi, Lorena.
Hey, Lorena. Is building up really epic action sequences. And I think he does a really stellar job of it here, too. And again, it's setting up for a big conclusion. I'm really looking forward to seeing what Joe Kelly's going to do on Spider-Man when he picks it up. But honestly, Spider-Man just needs to get a massive reboot. Like, they need to do away with the jackpot. They need to do away with all these sub-characters. Chasm is like the stupidest character ever. I'm sorry. I love everybody in comics. Like, I can't get behind this character. He's the Scarlet Spider. Just keep him Scarlet Spider. I can't get behind it.
I think what a lot of people have been complaining about the writing on Big Two comics lately. I think the problem is because these are great writers that are writing these books. I think the problem is a little higher up than that. It's like the people coming down on them saying, well, you need to write about this because this is what's going to make us money somewhere else.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's Diet Coke Harley Quinn, which is Punchline. Or no, sorry. Punchline is Punchline is Coke 2 Harley Quinn. I forgot her name. The rabbit. She's basically the Diet Coke version of Harley Quinn. She's like,
so it's like an Aldi brand.
Yeah, it's like the Aldi brand. Exactly. It's just like we don't need this. The stuff that they've been doing with Mary Jane, aside from Jackpot, like I just wish she does not need superpowers. But the fact that she's in a relationship with some other guy, I like that. That's the best part of what Zeb has set up here, is making the relationship between Mary Jane and Peter Parker more complicated. I would say that's where this entire run shines most. And the stuff that he did with Norman has been pretty good. It was a lot of double crossing, triple crossing. Spider-Man's double crossing Norman, then Norman's upping him, and they just keep upping each other. But I agree with you. I think Spider-Man is one of those books that is not all Marvel and not all DC books are poorly written. They're all varied. It just depends on which book you're reading. I think this is the book that has the most pressure on it. And to Zeb's credit, it's like, I don't think Zeb gets to come in and be like, okay, this is what I want to do here. They're like, no, you got to do this, Zeb. And that's the thing that I think makes it challenging. But, I like him as a person. I like him as a writer. I think he did really great. So I can't say anything bad about it. I wish I've read better Spider-Man before, but I don't necessarily blame him. I blame the suits.
Yeah. So let's look at the chat real quick. Sean was asking if I was paid off to be on camera. I am trying to step out of my comfort zone. So
you're doing a great job, by the way, dude.
Thank you very much.
You haven't even canceled me yet. Like, this is really great.
You know what? I don't even have that picture anymore, or that GIF. Do you have that GIF, Jay? Can you cancel someone? Eddie's in chat. We got David, Lorena. It's as Lorena was saying, it's like all the cool peeps are here and on the panel tonight. So nice. The cover is sick. That's JR. Yes.
Yeah, that is John Jr. What I really like about it is you get a nice shot of Spider-Man's ass right here. I think that's.
I mean, that's what sells books, man.
True.
Yeah. Got to get it up there.
Curvature. There's no curvature.
Do you think they're trying to make him the new Nightwing with all the the butt fanatics?
What I really wish is that they had a embossed cover where the ass would be embossed.
Come on, let's go. Oh.
All right, so I dove into a bunch of indie stuff, and none of these I had been reading, and there weren't many number ones. So I did start with the one number one that I had available to me, which was the Dynamite Red Sonja, the new story called Death and the Devil, which I thought was really good. Now, I haven't been reading Red Sonja lately, so I don't know where this came out of. And yes. Speaking of butt, we're talking Red Sonja now. It's really not bad. It's setting up this sort of joint adventure between Red Sonja and this character that they call the Bloodless, who is I guess, an assassin. He refers to himself as a dealer of death. And through the action of the comic, they kind of end up working together to facilitate her goal of basically she killed the Sultan in the last story run, who was a horrible creature. But he was also in charge of this land that she was in, and it all went to heck after the Sultan died because all the little despots and people who wanted power were starting fighting amongst each other to take the throne. And she's trying to find the one child left who has royal blood to get him onto the throne. And he's been captured by the sons of Set, the snake god, and they're trying to brainwash him so that he will serve them on the throne. That's what she's doing right now. But then this other being, because we don't really know what he is. I mean, in the title it says Death and the Devil, which of course she's the Red Devil. Whether or not he's a personification of death, we don't really know. We know he can talk to dead people from the first issue. And he's like bone white. He's got like a very like Baron Zamati feel to him. He's got that tiny like short top hat going. He's got bone necklace, very kind of Creole voodoo priest sort of look to him around. You get the tattooed figure runes on his head. And it's told from his perspective. He's the narrator of the issue, and it's just getting his point of view. You know that he's willing to help her here, but he does not have good intentions for Red Sonja through the story. So it's kind of interesting setting up this cooperation, but definitely not with a lot of tension in it. The colors really great. It's kind of washed out. The artist, who was the artist on this? This was
You got any images you can show us?
I don't have any. Oh, I do. I have the. See, that's the thing is I have the covers. None of the covers were done by the interior artist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like, they're still going on about Spider-Butt in the comments.
I started something here, but I think your review of Red Sonja has been really good. It's like making me want to pick it up.
But the artist was
Sonja's butt. And when you said Red Devil, I was thinking of Ace Ventura when nature calls. Let me guess.
White Devil. You speak Wachuti.
You speak Wachuti?
Anyway, the artist was Alberto Locatelli. Writer's Luke Lieberman, who is the current rights holder to the Red Sonja comics, and he's a producer on the Red Sonja movie, which... Have you guys heard anything about the Red Sonja movie? It was supposed to come out this year, wasn't it?
I thought so.
Yeah. It says it's in post-production, but there's not a lot of news coming out about it, so I was just interested in if anybody knew anything about it. Anybody in chat, you guys know what's going on in the Red Sonja movie?
I know there was talks of also Barbarella with Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah. I don't know.
I would so watch that.
Somebody told me the strikes last year threw everything off, is what Eddie's saying. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Somebody once told me that Hollywood is in the business of not making movies.
It's interesting. So when I was at Dragon Con, because I'm like actively trying to get like movie rights sold for my comics too, like no one wants to buy anything right now because the whole streaming is like destroyed budgets for Hollywood and making movies and everything. So unless it's like financed by like people with deep pockets, or
unless you can get like both stars from America and China in the same movie.
Right, exactly.
Like, you can get financing from US and China at the same time, then you can make your movie. And that's why we're seeing a lot of kind of cross cultural stories out there. Like the Meg. That's how the Meg got made.
Really? Oh,
the Meg too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Brain reset. ADHD. What was I talking about? We were talking about Red Sonja, and I was talking about the art. I love the art. A lot of the backgrounds come off as watercolor. A lot of it actually comes off as watercolor, but the lines are really crisp on the figures. There's some good action, some blood. There's a little eye candy. You know what you're getting when you pick up a Red Sonja comic. So yeah, it's giving me Western vibes too, because I know Jay read a Western, sort of a Western sci-fi comic, and that's what I'm getting from the Red Sonja, sort of like cross between Savage, Hyborian Age, and a Western. So what do you think?
So there's one.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jay.
Yeah.
Cut you off real quick. We're gonna take a break. Come back, and we'll go into Jay's comic.
Okay.
If I can find the correct button. There it is.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.
Ask your local comic shop to add Battle Quest comics to your pull list today. So, the show is called The Geek Chat. And really, there's just a couple of geeks.
I'm Rich.
I'm Dez.
And we are your hosts for this weekly guide into comic bookery and all the geeky stuff that goes with it.
And that pretty much says it all. They talk about the latest movies and shows.
Okay, I'll be completely honest with you. Overall, D+ movie.
So the end. Did you know who that is?
That's She-Ra, yeah.
Yes.
The new #1 comics of the week.
We rep Samuel Jackson and we rep Mace Windu.
I passed on this. I was like...
No regrets.
No regrets. I really wanted to like this book. I really did. Like, I really did.
And just chat with each other. And with you.
Oh, Daniel says, I dosed off with the first one. I have zero interest in the Joker Harley ship, not Harley herself. Enjoy, not for me. Yeah, this movie's going to be rough for me to sit through, I'll be honest.
The Geek Chat, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Just a couple of honest geeks.
Let's be honest. Come on.
And that is why people watch us, because we're honest.
Giving their honest opinions.
And the thing you always have to remember about the internet is everyone has an opinion, and they all suck.
Part of the experience.
Dancing to the
Actually, I really like that. That was pretty catchy beat.
Yeah, it's all. Oh, hey, we got Space Case Cards showing up. How you doing, man? Welcome to the show. Again, this is a fill-in show for the Geek Chat that is normally here, and I really recommend you guys, if you haven't actually checked out Rich and Des, that you guys do give them a shot. They are funny. They got great takes on the latest comic books. They don't do much indie, but they're working on that. But they definitely love all of the X-Men books. Not so much the Fall of X books, but they're happy to be past that into the From the Ashes age. So Jay,
I'll be reviewing the books that they were gonna review this week. So
cool.
What's really funny is on Minute to Skim It, I always tell people, if Rich and Des end up reading a book that I read, go watch them so you can see a good review of a book. My reviews are pretty colors, and I thought this was funny. So that Red Sonja you were talking about, it does sound interesting. That was actually on my list. Since we didn't do Minute to Skim It, I didn't read it.
So this is another good reason to do this show, because we would have had no reviews shows at all this week.
Yeah. But I got it downloaded. You talking about it makes me want to read it, because I'll say this about Dynamite. It wasn't really until they started doing, or I started getting into like the 007 book by Philip Kennedy Johnson, and now they're doing all these basically Saturday morning cartoon books that they're doing. I was not the biggest fan of some of their characters like Barbarella and Red Sonja. I only knew her from the Bridget Nielsen movie. You know?
Not that that's a bad place to know her from.
No. Well, yeah, exactly. But I will say this, and I'm going to butcher the name, and I apologize in advance for it. There's a series, Red Sonja, written by Torunn Grønbæk.
Mm-hmm.
That is the one that I've read that I have just been like, if I had to tell somebody, if I had to get somebody to read a Red Sonja book, that's the series I would tell them to start out with, because the art's beautiful, the story's fantastic, and it makes me see why people love that character so much.
Nice. That's part of the Dynamite run?
Yeah.
Okay. Because most people say to start with Gail Simone, so that's interesting to get another take.
Yeah, you got to be careful though, because let's be honest, there's like 8 different Red Sonja runs, sometimes all going together.
Oh yeah,
but
lots of different Red Sonja, lots of different Vampirellas too.
Yeah.
Yep.
So honestly, folks, I only read one book this week, and I read it not only because it's a Valiant book, and I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to Valiant. I've said quite a few times on this channel now, Valiant is like the toxic ex that you keep going back to because you're just like, this time it's going to be different, And I'm really hoping it is, because the Road to Resurgence looks amazing. And the book that I read, Eternal Warriors, Last Ride of the Immortals, like I said, I did a short for the EXP for it, but I got notes on it. This is the only one I read this week just to do that short. So this is Tombstone meets superheroes.
Not the pizza, right?
No,
okay.
No, but something just as good. Just as good. You want to talk about? Okay, before I get into this, let me just say something about Tombstone real fast. If you are somebody out there that knows people that don't like Westerns, Tombstone is the movie that you show people who don't like Westerns, they'll like it. Tombstone is just that movie. But and when I say it's this book is a mix of it, it's because literally they're going to the OK Corral. Doc Holliday is in this. Wyatt Earp is in this book. This is basically one of 2 years that the character Ivar Timewalker, who is the eldest of the Anipati brothers, who in this series you find out there's actually a 4th sibling. There's one of 2 years he can't remember, 1882 and 2022. So in this book, they're going back to 1882 to find out why Ivar can't remember this year. And when they get there, they kind of find out that the first time around, maybe they weren't exactly on the side of good. Like I said, we're 2 issues in, so it's still kind of a mystery. They also find that maybe they're not the only time travelers there. So this is a book, if you're into Westerns, if you're into sci-fi, Ed, maybe or maybe not, that line is in the book and it's used in an awesome way. If you're into Western sci-fi, this is definitely a book you want to check out. I will say this about this. When I started reading Valiant, I read Valiant a long time ago. I fell off for a little bit when they got into like the Acclaim era of it, but then I jumped back in the 2012 series. the newer Valiant stuff feels a lot bloodier than the older stuff, but there's still solid stories. I'm really excited to see what happens next. Like I said, if you're a fan of Valiant, if you're a fan of Western sci-fi, any of that stuff, you should definitely jump on this book. It's pretty dope.
Pretty sweet. Sounds really good. Why did they always want to go back to the OK Corral? Like, we don't even know what year it happened, I don't think.
I thought that was pretty well documented.
Is it?
Yeah,
okay,
okay, Corral. Yeah, that was well done. Because I mean, Wyatt Earp was around to like he was in Hollywood, sharing those stories and everything.
That's true. That's true. Yes, that's why we got so many accounts of it.
Yeah, and there was like Doc Holliday's biography, or it was a biography. There was a biography.
It's just like the number of time travel stories to the OK Corral that I've seen is just kind of flabbergasted me. Like there was a Star Trek episode where they ended up in the OK Corral.
Hey, it's a big showdown. You know what's
exactly.
you know what the OK and the OK Corral stands for, right?
I have no idea.
Onrie Kompan, man.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, yes. See, there you go. So at some point in the future,
back to me.
You will time travel back to before this and have a ranch.
Now,
yes,
have a corral.
Has there ever been? Because I've always been interested to know. Has there ever been a graphic novel about?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if there's ever been. I know Winona Earp is a very popular comic series, but that's not like. That's like Western sci-fi-ish.
Winona Earp is like she's like a modern day demon killer with Wyatt Earp apparently had a gun that could kill demons.
Yeah.
Well, there's also Harry Tubman, Demon Slayer. So I mean, and Abraham Lincoln, Jesus Christ killed people or killed zombies.
No, it was they made a movie of that one. Didn't it? It was Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer. Yeah. The movie sucked. But I hear the comics were good, or the book was good.
The President was really good too.
So Sean says he's not a true Western fan, but he likes the big four: Silverado, Tombstone, Young Guns, and the Quick and the Dead. Quick and the Dead, it's so off of the traditional Western.
Can I recommend a Western for everybody?
Sure, go for it.
It's technically a post-apocalyptic zombie story, but Just a Pilgrim. If you guys have ever had a chance to read this is fantastic.
Oh.
And it's written by Garth Ennis. It's like a 5-issue miniseries.
Oh, so it's very violent then.
Oh, it's super violent. But it's basically about a reformer.
Mm-hmm.
And he used to be like a serial killer, and now he basically like etched a cross on his over his eye, and has become like a killer of zombies and a protector of humans, and just being like a good dude now. This is really, really good for anybody who's into Westerns and wants a comic Western. And my other favorite Western is Old Man Logan. That's a total Western.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even though the movie Logan was actually, if it was supposedly a ripoff of Little Miss Sunshine.
Shut up! Are you serious?
Yeah. If you watch the plot of Little Miss Sunshine, it kind of matches beat for beat with the plot of Logan.
I have to actually go back because I've seen Little Miss Sunshine, but it was just such a long time ago. But yeah, I mean that movie was pretty dysfunctional. I can see that.
All right.
Totally. Some good old Alan Arkin.
Good, bad, and the ugly. Yeah. That's definitely a good one. So let's see. Have you got another one lined up for us, Onrie?
Yes, I do.
All right.
So I'm gonna go ahead with Wolverine #1 because that was in the graphic.
There we go.
This is my pick of the week. If you're not out there at your comic shop this week picking up this book, you're missing out. And shut up if you disagree with me.
That's right. That's we brook no disagreement.
Yeah. I will say
we're the experts here.
Yeah, we're the experts here. Now, I've read everything from the Ashes so far except for X-Force and X-Factor and the other X-Men thing. Like, I'm only sticking to what I'm interested in. And I'm treating each book as its own continuity, because if you try and be like, okay, where's this in continuity, it makes no sense. And basically this book starts off with some really, all throughout it's got the most killer artwork, period. Like the coloring, everything is consistent in this book. Like the artwork is amazing. This is a new Wolverine run, and basically he's running with wolves and he's butt-ass naked, and you know, just like Spider-Bot, he could have, you know, had a embossed.
I mean, but Wolverine is like naked so often in comics. It's kind of his thing.
But here's the thing that's weird about it is, if you're reading Uncanny X-Men, which I'm also reading, he's not butt naked, and if you're reading the regular X-Men, he's not butt naked there either. Like Wolverine is just like everywhere. I've just come to accept the fact that Wolverine is everywhere all the time. Just don't even think about it. Don't question it.
It's like a Marvel writer was smart. They would pitch like someone put together like a Wolverine cloning operation, and now he's like everyone thinks they know the Wolverine.
I mean, he's just literally in every single place at once. So I just kind of leave it as, okay, this is somewhere in the continuity. We don't need to necessarily know where. It doesn't matter. Unlike that Spider-Man book, this is a perfect jump on point, obviously, because it is the #1 or legacy number 393. So, you know, in a couple issues, we're going to get 400, which they're going to probably do something cool with it. But the artist here is Martin Cucolo. I'm probably messing that up. Saladin Ahmed is the writer on this. He's also writing Daredevil right now. So what happens in this issue? Wolverine fights Cyber. And Cyber his skin is made out of adamantium. And he was also Wolverine's like mentor, I guess, when they were in the Weapon X program. And so Wolverine's like out in Canada running around with wolves naked. And all of a sudden Nightcrawler finds him. And Nightcrawler's like, hey, whoa, what are you doing over here? And he's just like, oh, killed my wolves. And, you know, like, it's a pretty basic Wolverine story, but God damn, this artwork is so good. It is just, it just pulls you in. I absolutely love the artwork. I mean, and I'm hoping that more will happen with the story. There's a great battle here with Cyber. The battle with Cyber is really just epic. I think, you know, as a creator myself, when I'm reading all these books, I'm not trying to keep up with the trends in comics, but what I am looking for is like what actually works in a book. So I think you can pick any comic and tear it apart and say, oh, this is boring, or this is stupid, or we've seen this 1,000 times. Yes, you have seen this 1,000 times, but the artwork is unique and it's great and it's worth looking at. Plus, this is an issue 1. So this is Saladin Ahmed's first issue of Wolverine. You can't come into an issue 1 and do groundbreaking stuff right away. You got to build up to it slowly. And the battle here, again, it's really freaking, it's just a fun book to look at. And the narrative pace is fine. I don't have any issues with it. There's one of these QR codes at the end of the issue.
Yeah.
So you scan the QR code and then you get like an extra scene, which I think is clever. I mean, it's something. I think anything gets you to do to go beyond just simply reading the comic and putting it down and putting it away forever, I think is cool. And it sets,
I mean, that's a way to look at it. There's also a way to look at it like they're taking part of what the comic would have been and hiding it from you to make you read it on a computer, which is where they want you to buy the books anyway.
Well, it's not just that too. Think of it like when you're watching any Marvel movie and you get that after credits scene. This is how they've taken it and put it in comic book format. QR codes, you know, that's where they can. That's how they can do this. Oh. And so my opinion of this is the art is what sells this book. The story can go in any direction it wants. Really, it doesn't like. It's not one of those like narrative pulls that I'm like, oh my god, I need issue 2. Like that's how I felt about Alien Alien versus Avengers. This is a book that's like, I need issue 2 stat. You know, like one that I'm like, I want to know what happens next right now. This, it's kind of like, okay, it's here. I'm glad it exists. It's a gorgeous looking book. I can't wait to see what they do next. I can't wait to see what they build up from here. And again, look at this cover. It's a killer cover. You know, and again, it's not a concept we haven't seen before, but like execution wise, it's really well done. You know, like Wolverine pops on the cover. I love the adamantium skeletons or the dead bodies. I don't know if they're adamantium or not, but still, it's like, I'm glad that another thing we get here is consistency. The artist who did the cover did the interiors. I mean, there's a Patrick Gleason foil here that I have. This is going to be one of the books I offer next week. So anybody who can't get this at shops will have a chance to pick it up next week. But you got,
oh yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool foil. You know,
like the cameras and the lights can't do that justice. If you go look that up online or go see it in the comic book shop, that cover is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So you know, Wolverine I thought was that delivered this week. You know, like for a number one, we're off to a good start. Let's see.
So Eddie's wondering if this is going to be a prequel to Dancing with Wolves.
Yeah, naked with wolves. This is Wolverine naked with wolves. That's the perfect summary for this book.
And Logan is pointing out that he doesn't have to worry about. Steve is pointing out Logan doesn't have to worry about permanently losing any parts, which made me think some things that I probably shouldn't say on the air.
Well,
but just imagine that there's like over the 200 years he's been alive, there's like how many Wolverine body parts are there strewn across the world at this point?
Well, you know, there's also a joke made about that at some point in the book too. So it's like it doesn't take itself seriously on that.
That's good.
Seriously. But you know, the thing about just one last thing I want to point out. Issue ones, I'm speaking as a creator now. Issue ones are so hard. It's so hard with an issue one because you gotta hook the reader, and it is so hard to bring new characters in or even reestablish old characters. You got to give the creators time to leave their mark on it. I think issue one is where they show like, hey, we have an understanding of who this character is. Trust us with issue 2 and beyond, and we'll take you somewhere cool. So there, that's...
All right, cool. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back.
What do you call the place on Spider-Man's wrists where the webs come out? His website. I hate myself for writing that joke, but you'd make me feel so much better if you just visited our website. We have links to our merch, new release lists, all the show info, and so much more. TheEXPLive.com.
Whoa. Whoa. Did you miss it? Yeah, they can go by pretty fast. Let's slow down the footage.
Welcome. It's time to skim some comics. Miles Morales Spider-Man, I will just tell you that Miles is very important in his role as a vampire. So
it's fine. If you like Hercules, read it. If you don't like it, don't worry about it. It's fine.
The art is still stunning. There's a panel, little spoiler, there's a panel in this where Chitauri first hits Lion-O, and he is the best "did she really just hit me" face I've ever seen put in a comic book.
Wow, live reviews of new comic books so you can be ready for New Comic Book Day. What is this? Oh, I see. It's Minute to Skim It. Part of the experience. Something is speaking to you.
Buy more comics.
Just at the edge of your perception.
Buy more comics.
Your senses fill with visions of vortices.
360 comics.
Slowly drawing you to one thundering epiphany.
360 comics!
360 comics!
The universe is telling you to shop with 360 Comics. Joe's got amazing stock from high dollar to $5 books from Silver Age to modern, CGC, variant covers, and more. 360 Comics every Wednesday at 9 Eastern, part of the experience.
And we're back. Again, this is a no-name show. I think that's a good name for a show. Maybe.
This is called. Actually, I have a great title.
What's
You
that?
ready? Not Geek Chat.
Not that. That's exactly. It's very descriptive. Accuracy is very important in the title. But yeah, we're filling in for the Geek Chat today with some comic reviews. You saw this commercial for Minute to Skim It. We also have Jay and Kyle and Miss Jen. They do reviews every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and you can do the math for the other time zones. And of course, we have the Geek Chat here at 9 o'clock Eastern. We got minutes. We got Sketch Up with Mog and Mel coming up right after this. And their guest tonight, I forget his name, but he has got an active Kickstarter for a comic called The Embrace.
Michael Loden.
Yes.
Loden.
Yes. Yeah, very beautiful art. I might have to back that one because it looks really good. But anyway, we'll talk about that on the next show. But we got about 10 minutes left. So why don't we do lightning round? Let's see. Let me get what was next on my list. Again, ADHD, can't remember anything. Toxic Summer number 3 by Derek Charm, who, if you don't know, is a really good. He's an amazing artist. He's done stuff for Marvel. He's done stuff for DC. He's a character designer for animation. He's done stuff for Archie's, which makes sense because Archie's is it's the art in Toxic Summer is very Archie's like. It's basically these two kids. It's sort of like a 50s alien invasion story kind of template. It's like these kids, they're going up to from like New York or from their university, whatever, like a big city, to this beach town. They become lifeguards for the summer, and then toxic stuff comes pouring out of the ocean, and it's really beautiful. It's simple. It's very teenagey kind of drama, but it is also very, very dumb. Like, the characters are dumb. That's all right. You can have a story where the characters aren't very smart and they make bad decisions, but the story itself is also very dumb. Because Rich reviewed number 1. I didn't read that, but this was his same take on it too, and I agree. Derek Charm both wrote and did the art for this comic, and he is a very good artist. Maybe needs to maybe you don't want to put your very first script out there for people to see and don't ask them to pay for it. Maybe put that in a drawer, get that out in about 10 years and read it and see how much you've improved. That's what I'm saying. Onrie, you got your third one?
Yes, I do. Didn't we go to Jay first? Jay?
Well, Jay only had the one book, so he's just going to chime in.
All right.
But I can tell you, though, Space Ghost number 5 came out. You should definitely pick up Space Ghost.
Who's putting that out? DC?
No, kind of. Dynamite Comics.
Oh, Dynamite.
Yeah.
No, the cover on that one is an amazing piece of art with Space Ghost and Zorak.
Yeah, who's working on that?
That's the writer.
Jonathan Lau.
Yeah, Jonathan Lau does the interior art. I think the covers are all different artists. Dynamite that puts out 15 covers.
We're gonna have Wingdings. We're gonna have Wingdings eventually describing these covers.
Yeah.
Is this Space Ghost serious, or is this like the
very serious?
Oh, really?
Look, I have no ties to this character. For some reason, that's the.
I just really liked the talk show that they did. I thought that was great.
It's the one Hanna-Barbera character in my life that I missed somehow. Yeah. David Pepos and the team on this have made me love this comic.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Space Ghost. I'm actually interested.
It's I think the talk show is that's the only reference that people our age would get with Space Ghost, but it's definitely not the goofy 60s cartoon that they from Hanna-Barbera. It is in your face. It's like a very serious adventure story from the Silver Age.
Yeah.
So even Golden Age, maybe.
Really good though.
Yeah.
Really good.
Interesting. Very interesting. I will definitely check this out. Jonathan Lau is the interior artist on this?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. All right, I'm going to have to check this out. All right, my last review here. Uncanny X-Men number 2. Gail, her second issue debuts here. This is a key issue because we see the first appearance of the Outliers. These are a new band of mutants. Gail's been teasing about this issue for a few months if you follow her on social media. Like Wolverine, the art in this book really sings. David Marquez is the artist here. This guy just kicks so much ass. Like, his artwork is really, really great. I don't think this cover does his art justice. It's just really, really gosh darn good stuff. So as you see here, this doesn't follow continuity at all. Like, if you read Wolverine 1 and then you read this book, you're like, what the heck is going on here? Because Wolverine's not running with a bunch of wolves. He's now reunited with, the X-Men. So basically what happens here is, the X-Men are like, there's some flashbacks with Charles Xavier. So Professor X, like, we're introduced to this girl that he used to date back in his school days and his younger years. And then it kind of goes back and forth from there. But basically, the X-Men are like, they're disbanded essentially. And these Outliers find them and they're like, hey, we need your help. And then they fight, obviously, because that's what you have to have happen. Otherwise, nothing else is going to occur in this book. But they're on the run from someone. And we don't know what's going on with Professor X right now. At least I don't, from having read these books. But a lot of action here. A lot of good sequences that are just like, oh, cool, this is fun. They're building something here. Something is being built. And this is like that first piece. And I think Gail Simone is someone you can just put your guard down with and trust. She knows what she's doing. She's been writing comics a long time and she does really great stuff. So it's like, I don't think it's going to be long before we get a big payoff with this. And she's focusing on the right things with this book. So it's like, brought this back to like a core team. She's focusing a lot on Gambit and Rogue's relationship. Wolverine, Nightcrawler, and Jubilee. This is a good core team so far. We need the rest of we need to fill this out. And it looks like the Outliers might have some part to play in that. The characters are I wouldn't say they're really that interesting to me, like, personally. I mean, we've just, between all the Power Pack and the New Mutants and all these other things, like, I just don't really. And to me, they just feel like a bunch of Superboy robots, like the Legion of Superheroes, like that kind of stuff. It just feels over. I'm a little overstimulated by that, but again, I trust Gail. I think she can write a good core book here. It's not over the top here. It's like it's following. She laid her first piece. This is a pretty good book, and if you're gonna, by the time this book hits its stride, you're gonna want to be on this already. So this is a book I would stay on.
I think if there's one name in comics right now that everybody can say they look forward to her work, it would be Gail Simone. Like, nobody has anything bad to say about her.
Yeah, no, this is
except the people she screws with on Twitter.
Well, they most of the time have it coming. So it's like, yeah.
All right. Well, I think we have about run out of time. I got to get the things ready for SketchUp coming up next with that name that you said, Michael Odin, and The Embrace. We're going to talk about that. Of course, we got Jen Leonard. I think John Stinsman's in there. We've got a lot of great artists, and you can come out and buy some art and check out Onrie Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern. And Jay, of course, on Minute to Skim It, and that is at 7 p.m. Eastern. I've gotten so used to living out in Pacific time. So thank you, Eddie. Appreciate it. Thank you all for watching. It's so great. Make sure to come back next week and check out Geek Chat at the same time. And I will see you guys later. Good night.
Peace, peace, peace.
Maybe.
Bye.